Hello everyone, welcome to the fourth week landmarks and proportions session. Okie dokie, here I start showing you the important landmarks that you have to memorize. The front view, and then later on I will show you how you can integrate that knowledge in your figure drawings. All right. So let's start with the clavicles. These are clavicles here on the shoulders. Clavicles and spine of the scapula and acromion process together, they create, this is from top view, together they create the shoulder joint. Here you have the neck and head. So shoulder joint is absolutely important and quite complex sometimes to manage in the drawings, but that's why learning landmarks would help a lot. After that you have manubrium, sternum and xiphoid process right there, costal cartilages, from rib number 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Also, these are landmarks too. Basically, landmark is in anatomy is any bony part, subcutaneous and not visible, of course, but it's a bony part that you can feel on your body, and it's not covered by muscles. So that's the definition of a landmark, and we use them as guides to create the structure that we want. Pelvis, we have anterior superior iliac spine, iliac crest, pubic, greater trochanter. These are all important landmarks there. In the back view, as I said before, you have the scapula, the medial border, spine of scapula, a bit of clavicle is visible, spine itself, all these points, dots, they are landmarks. The back view of pelvis, you have posterior superior iliac spine, and then sacrum bone right there, and greater trochanter. Moreover, on the arms and legs, we have the elbow as a landmark, then we have the kneecap or patella as landmark. Let me show you another color on this sculpture by Benvenuto Cellini. These are landmarks. Tibial shaft is a landmark. Here's greater trochanter. The arm. The lower arm actually has other 2 points that are landmarks, because we have radius and ulna. Then here's the wrist. So right here there is styloid process of ulna, and then radius itself at the end is, I mean, you can touch that and it's really close to the skin here at this point. So these are really great help for us to start building up the structure of the body, having a look at the anatomy, and especially the skeleton. All right. Now I want to go back to the previous session we had on forms and connection and add another layer. For example, on this drawing, I want to add landmarks and show you how you can use that knowledge here. Clavicles, you have sternum, xiphoid process. This is costal cartilages. Head of the humerus, the upper arm bone, greater trochanter, patella, patellar ligament, tibial shaft. All right. So when you know and actually see these landmarks, then you can start building up the structure using boxes. In order to show the perspective as well and give depth to your drawings. This is an exercise. You don't have to draw boxes always. At a certain point of your journey, your drawings are going to be really a synthesis of all these knowledge that you're gaining now. What I'm doing here is giving you, as I said before, the right tools to help you see better the body and receive much more information from it. And then you're gonna choose what to put on paper. Okay, but it's indispensable to learn what's the volume of rib cage, of pelvis, and how they occupy the space. So if you want to create this three-dimensional illusion, the best volume ever that does that work for us is the box, because it has length, width, and height all together. And later on, it gives us a great understanding to work on light and shadow and render forms. Okay, so all of this helps us to understand better the form itself. So this is the transformation from the shape, a simple shape, into a form which is from circle to sphere, from square to box, or the combination of circle and box into a cylinder. Okay. All right. Now let me use dark blue. So when you're done with that, putting boxes by just connecting all these landmarks, then you can also emphasize even more on the geometry, on the volume of the body, like this. And so, for example, this shoulder has this type of connection between the neck and torso. Here. You see that box? all of it helps you to see the body not as a flat shape, but to perceive its volume as well. I'm gonna do another study here of landmarks on this statue. So here you have the clavicles. They have this S curve. And then you have the acromion process. It's a bit lower than clavicle. Then you have sternum, anterior superior iliac spine, pubic, greater trochanter, patella, tibial shaft. These are the landmarks, radius and ulna, elbow. Okay. Now I can add the boxes to it. So we see beneath the box for the rib cage and up side of pelvis. See that? And then you can connect them together. You can do the same thing using a box for legs and arms as well. There we go. So as I told you, this is a great exercise that you can dedicate a bit of time to practice this type of seeing the body, trying to look at landmarks and then building up these boxes from that. So that next time you want to add muscles to it, or you want to render it, you have a great understanding of the space and the depth, in the figure drawing. All right. The other thing I wanted to talk about was proportions. What I'm going to teach you here is the 8 head and 7.5 head system. So here in this reference you have, well, the unit is 1 head, okay, the length of 1 head. The second one finishes right here on this line, and this is what you have to memorize. The third one on the belly button, and here's the fourth one. We don't continue counting down, but you have to come here from the feet and then go up. So here's 1, 2, 3, and 4. You see that they overlap the last part, the fourth head. They overlap. So we need to omit half of it. And as a result, you're going to have 7.5 heads, which is the normal proportion in human body. We have the ideal one, which is 8 head. like this statue where the length between pubic and head is equal to pubic to the feet. You see, and this is half of the middle of the body. Okay, that's another system. And this one as well. This is greater trochanter is the middle of the body. And then you have two equal parts, top part of it and bottom part of the body. But don't worry, because everything that I tell you here, since I'm using head as a unit, remains the same. It doesn't change, even if you have a 6 head body, 5 head body, or 10 head body, which is much taller. The relationships, they don't change between the parts. They always remain the same. So try to memorize the relationships, not the numbers. That's not important. For example, what do you have to necessarily? For example, what do you have to learn about torso is that the length of it is 2 heads from the clavicle to anterior superior iliac spine. So you see why knowing landmarks help? Then you can create a perfect proportionate figure drawing. All right, then the shoulders, you see this distance, you have 2 heads here lying down, horizontal heads, 1 and 2. What else? The length of the arm is 3 heads, 1, 2, 3. In the back, I have another reference. Let me show you that. There you go. In the back, you have the same system. Nothing changes. But we have this landmark, 7th cervical vertebra. From this point to posterior superior iliac spine, again, there's 2 heads. From this point, which is parallel to the spine, if you come down 1 head, it gives you the right placement of the scapula right here. I told you that the arm is 3 heads. So from the elbow to the end of the fingers, you have 2 heads. Then the bending point of the knee is exactly on the 2nd head from the feet, when you go up from the feet. And from this point, if you go up 1.5 head, you're gonna reach to the buttocks. So you know where this curve ends. And here again, you have 3 heads. You see, it's real simple. So, and by the way, you learn the proportions both by studying it, obviously, and practicing visually. The visual practice is even more important. At the end, your eyes should be trained to see the proportions. And when it happens, even if when you're drawing from your imagination, you're gonna always maintain the right proportions. Even if you're exaggerating, but it makes sense. It's important when you exaggerate, it should make sense. All right, so see, it's quite simple. You saw the landmarks and you saw the proportions. Now in the next video, what we do is mixing up these two ideas plus forms and connection, and we're gonna do a bit thorough figure drawings, a bit more complete figure drawings. We would say complex. So let's add a bit of detail to our works in the next week, in the part-to-part class, which is the 5th week. So for you, the best exercise is looking at master drawings, looking at the landmarks, or even the models, different references. Try to identify where are the landmarks, draw the boxes, and draw the volumes. So keep practicing gestures, do quick sketches, study landmarks and proportions till you get more comfortable with that. So we're gonna see each other again the next week, the part-to-part session. Till then, keep me updated, send me your works, and that's it for this session. I hope you enjoyed it. See you soon. Bye-bye.